everybody tonight to our live Q&A live Q&A webcast part 2. We had some technical difficulties Friday. We wanted to broadcast this live, and hopefully we're doing that. Excuse me. So just in case, we're going to record this. Right, Lo? We're going to record this?
We are recording now.
Okay, we're recording now, so there you go.
Yes, ma'am.
So anyways, and we want to welcome you, for folks who have questions, this is, live Q&A. Also about the Mastermind, SetMeUp4Success, Insiders Circle Mastermind group. And, Lo and I would like to applaud those who, took action and joined our mastermind. In fact, we're going to be hosting our first training call tomorrow night. And if you haven't visited the page, we have an amazing offer.
Yes.
Okay, for folks. And you know what? I just want to say too, excuse me, I'm still recovering from a cold. I may look crazy right now and sound crazy. But the doors will be closing shut come Friday. So, we got a $1 trial going on, right?
Right.
$1 trial going on for 30 days. We extended it, a bunch of amazing stuff. So I would suggest that you go to SetMeUp4Success.com /mastermind dash, like a hyphen, circle. That's SetMeUp4Success.com /mastermind hyphen circle, so that there's no confusion. So anyway, but also, I want to introduce everybody to Lolita Sherrill.
Hello.
Pam Douglas. Pam Housebine Douglas here to my right. And
hello, guys.
Mr. Andrew Collins. They said link isn't working. Okay, link isn't working. I don't understand why that is. I clicked it before sending it to you to check and make sure that it took us directly to the channel.
Yep, we sure did.
So, hold on. What we're going to do is, Pam, do you have the link that you can post on the event page?
Yes. My email link.
Yeah, the Whitlow email out.
Okay. All right. Hold on a second, because they're just saying all they can see was the videos from a few days ago. Give me just a second.
Yeah, I don't understand why. This is slightly aggravating for the simple fact that it says if I want to broadcast live, right? Click this link, and it's supposed to be broadcasting us live.
Yep, that's
you know
right.
What? I got the thing open right here. Hold on.
Okay.
Hello, because I logged into YouTube to take me to Hangout. So, let me see. I want to, us to jump into these darn questions as quickly as possible because, you know what I mean? We're like at 9:07 here now. I don't understand why it says YouTube now has live video streaming using Hangouts on air. Live stream to your channel now.
Okay. So yeah, it should be live. And people should be able to see it.
So, that's crazy. Let me refresh the page. So anyways, Lo, do you have questions on your end? Other email account or what?
I do. I have one here that I got from a private message, and she just simply wanted to ask, is it all wholesaling that's going to be a part of the mastermind, or will there be other types of real estate investings that we will teach about and that we will talk about?
So you know the answer to that, though.
Yes.
So
And
no, it's not all wholesale.
yeah, it's not all
You know
wholesaling.
what I mean?
Go ahead, Iman. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not all wholesaling. If you go to the page to join the mastermind, it does detail, some of what will be covered, but not all of it. But there will be advanced strategies that we'll be doing trainings on. For example, I don't know, buying rentals, private money lender, or partnerships, as my buddy Shay says. And you know what I mean? Other exit strategies for your deals. So it's not just limited to wholesaling. Traditional wholesaling.
Correct.
So some of those exit strategies you can still apply wholesaling to, but I think most people just only understand, okay, somebody sell it at this $2,000 to find a buyer, boom. Every deal, everything that a seller may call you about concerning their property is not going to be that cut and dry.
Right.
I mean, a lot of times, so like Lo does, she specializes in subject to properties. So it makes sense to do that. Or lease option, exit strategy. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like Pam, she does short sales. So, they may be upside down or something, or just, they owe more than what the property's worth. So, let's see if we can do this. It's a hardship type of situation. And is there anything you'd like to add to, Andrew? I'm just pulling things off the top of my head. So, but there's a ton of things, I mean, how to get into, rehabbing, okay? Everything, there are things that Lo and I will teach, and there's other folks who have expertise at other things, like, you know what I mean? How to get into a deal 100%, acquisition and rehab costs, boom, without you having to come out your pocket to do that. How cool is that,
Absolutely.
And get a big fat check at settlement. And you didn't put zero into it. Much like with the wholesaling thing, like you didn't put nothing into it. The checks may not be, depending on what market you're in, but nice little check for somebody lending, partnering up with you on their, with their money on your deal that makes sense to them, and there you go, full steam ahead. So I hope that answers the question. But Andrew,
I think it answered the question.
Right?
Yeah, I would say, also additional strategies I was thinking of as far as this market. I know Pam and I have talked about tax deeds, some of the fantastic opportunities in tax delinquent properties.
Right.
For example, as people are making money and doing certain things, one of the biggest concerns is, what should I do with my cash that I generate? What are some options for investing the cash that I make? So, just some options in tax delinquent properties, for example, just uncovering a lot of opportunity right there. And that's just another example.
Right, absolutely. Which then brings to mind, a deal that we're getting ready to close on, a joint venture partner of mine out at DC. It's a probate situation. They had to go through orphans court. Like, that was completely and totally, foreign to me, this whole orphans court, because there was a will in place from 1979. However, the grandmother named her daughter as the executrix of the estate. She died in 2010. However, she never got the thing probated. So, we're going through this. So you got probate, you got tax liens, you got tax sales, depending on what kind of state you live in, And, there's just so much to learning about real estate. And, that's what we're there, what one of the many things that we'll be, covering in this mastermind. And, is there anything you want? I don't want to monopolize this,
You're
anything. Well,
you're
there's a
doing
ton of stuff.
great.
All right. Well, we got customized marketing plans, that we're going to assist you with, right? So a marketing plan, tailor made to your, financial situation, how to get deals done. You know what I mean? Lo and I have another amazing offer in place where just want to welcome everybody. Yes. Hello? Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
No, that was me. I'm sorry. I was searching, trying to find this recording.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's cool.
So, free leads for the first 30 days. I mean, come on. Everybody needs leads, right?
No
So,
doubt.
market, joint venture situations where, a lot of times folks in the, we have a free group online, but, many people are like, oh, new, or just not even new. Pam's been doing this for a very long time. She really is just new to the whole joint venturing thing. Okay, this is an experienced investor here, but she never really did joint venture deals with other folks in other markets or even in her own market. So, being a member of the mastermind, will receive assistance with that if you so choose. So there's a ton of things. Again, like I said, I'm still sick, so my brain isn't working that as well as it could be. So, anyways, I'm going to jump into a question. That I received. Should you tell a potential buyer when wholesaling properties that you're the owner of the property, when in fact you have the property? Wait a minute. Should you tell a potential buyer when wholesaling properties that you're the owner of the property, when in fact, you have the property under contract? In other words, what should be the correct way to connect yourself with property under contract, not to make things look or sound shady? I mean, I'll just answer this real fast. I have buyers that they buy property all the time, and they understand that they're getting discounted properties, and they understand that I did all the work, right, and negotiating and marketing for the deal, number one, negotiating the deal, negotiating the contract price, and that essentially what they are paying me for is me saving them time and effort from having to do all that stuff. You know what I mean? Everybody's not a born negotiator. Some people just are not inclined. They have no desire to do any of that. Like I have a buyer that said, I used to do it, but I don't have a desire to do any of it. So, and they are willing to pay you a nice premium for the service that you offer. Some not so much, but that's what it is. So anyway, anybody else want to add anything to that?
Sure.
To
Now,
that question?
this is okay. I just want to make sure I got the question correct. They're wondering, how do you properly represent yourself as the
Oh
person?
yeah, with the buyer.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, with the buyer, that's what I'm saying. Like, most
Yeah.
people, for that reason, they know what you're doing. I mean,
Right.
buyers. However, with the seller, what we really are, acquisition folks, acquisitionists. We acquire properties for, investors to, private investors. So if you're, in a situation where you don't, for some reason you're feeling uncomfortable, you just explain to your seller that, you handle all the real estate acquisitions for, private buyers who have contracted you to, acquire properties for them.
Well, another thing you can say too, 2 words, funding partner. I use that a lot, even with, mostly with sellers, because buyers typically don't care. You may have some that may ask you, well, is this your house? Yeah, I got it under contract. So, yeah, technically I control it. So, but
Right.
when you have a seller that asks you, well, are you buying the house? Well, yeah, my funding partners and I are going to purchase it. And
Right.
you're not fabricating anything because your funding partners are your investors. That's
They
going to
are
buy it. That
funding the
has
deal.
exactly. So, and I've
They
had a
are
couple,
funding the deal.
right, and I've had a couple students ask me, because they were concerned about that and misleading folks and all that kind of stuff. But
Right. Understandable.
I've found it more comforting to say funding partner or funding partners.
Right.
Yeah.
Andrew, Pam.
Okay, yeah, I like funding partner as well. I mean, one thing just to make sure to avoid is to ever claim to be or, you know, even allude to you being the owner of the property. And I know some people, because they're afraid to be circumvented, they're afraid people are going to go around them and all that stuff, that they want to kind of try to act like they're the owner of the property, but then it can get kind of hairy, and you're taking someone's earnest money and you're acting like you're the owner of the property.
Well, technically, you are. Once you have an equitable interest in the property, so I mean, technically, you are because you have an equitable interest. I'm not to complicate anything, but I understand what you're saying, Andrew. But technically, you do have an equitable interest. Yes, I am. I'm one of the owners. I have an equitable interest in the property.
That's true.
So,
What do I own is I'm an owner of something, so technically, but
you do. I mean,
guess
once
this
you,
is line to be careful about.
right. Yeah, you know what I mean?
What
Pam?
yes, normally what I do, depending upon who I'm dealing with, if I'm dealing with, my own buyer, they understand what I do. They know I wholesale the properties. There are people that when they call in, they'll ask me, "Are you the owner?" I tell them I'm working with the owner. I just leave it at that. Are you interested in the property? I don't go, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who I am.
Right.
They'll say, "Are you an agent?" No, I'm not an agent. I'm working with the owner to help them liquidate this property. Right. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I say.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Excellent. Lo, do you want to dive into another question?
Yes, we got one from Brad here.
Okay.
Let's see.
Mr.
All right, y'all. Can y'all see my screen? I'm not sure you can see my screen, but I'll read it out. It says, hold on. He said, "Would you put this deal under contract and market it for 107,000?" Okay, so y'all do your numbers. He said, "Here's the numbers. The purchase price is going to be 98,000. The rehab cost is estimated at 10,000, and he has the ARV, which is market value, between 145 and 150,000."
So, what? Is that a good deal or not? Is that the question?
That's what he's asking.
I mean, just based on those numbers, I mean, he's getting it for 97. It's got 10K in work, so that brings it to, with acquisition and repair costs, 107, and the ARV is between 140 and 150. I mean, based on that, yeah. I mean, but I don't.
What is his expected profit? What is he looking to make on something like that?
Right.
He doesn't say. Oh, I forgot to add this. I'm sorry. The average days on the market for this area are 30 to 45. So with that alone, yeah, it's even more attractive. I would say. But yeah, it just depends on what he's trying to get out of it. It doesn't matter if he's trying to make a large profit or a smaller. It'd still probably be a good deal, especially if it's the days on the market. Because if the repair costs are truly 10,000, then it's it looks pretty decent.
So I would look to get 10.
So Brad,
that brings it to 170.
Right.
I would look to get 10 because you don't want to be greedy. This is my thing. I don't. I think I've shared this before. I'm of the school of thought that yes, we're in this to make money. However, but I don't like to be greedy either. I'd rather have repeat buyers versus somebody buy one time and then that's it. And if you have a reputation for I mean, this has nothing to do with what Brad was saying, but people are going to continue to come to you and look to do business with you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yes.
10. Is this you?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm like,
Yeah, that's yes.
if I what? Wait a minute.
No, that's not a question for.
That it? Yeah. Is it? Are you seeing this?
No, when I click on if I click on your name to the right of the screen, and I click on Hangout, it then asks me to join. You're currently in the Hangout. So are these people in the actual Hangout or not? Are they supposed to be in the Hangout?
No, the whole idea
Correct.
was
But
that
people who's trying
is that it was being broadcast to the YouTube channel, not to get on this part of the
Meeting.
Gotcha. Okay, that's
Yeah.
perfect. That's what I wanted to know. Okay. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will
Okay.
say,
Go ahead, Andrew.
Go ahead,
I
Andrew.
will say on those numbers, it doesn't meet the Mayo formula. So if one were to go from an orthodox, strictly by the numbers perspective, it doesn't necessarily fit. It's
True.
like $7,000. He's paying $7,000 too much for it, and that's actually without. Now, the thing is, and this is something that your investor is looking at. So you've got to get underneath that to be able to really make any money.
Well, I think that's a very good point, and a good point that Iman said too. You don't want to be greedy, this, that, and the other. But even for me, I would start. If they were asking 98, I would probably. I always start lower anyway, obviously,
Right.
to see if I can make the cushion bigger for me for my payday. But I understand what you're saying, Andrew. But again, when the days on the market are, if they're in fact that low, and maybe you can't get it any lower, you can still probably get it sold pretty quick because, it may be a really good property for an investor to turn around and retail. That's probably what they would want to do anyway.
Right. Yeah, so.
Oh, we lost Aunt Pam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think she may be on the YouTube channel. So.
Okay. One of my students just texted me to say they're having trouble viewing the webinar. I don't understand. Listen, this is like, I apologize. So
It's all good.
Seeing this on camera. I filed direction. Click says, "Do you want to broadcast this live from your YouTube channel?" I clicked it. Start playing out.
It's all good.
And,
we just keep it moving.
all right. So,
We just keep it moving.
right.
It's not a problem. It's a detail.
Okay. There you go, right? When you cannot find comps on properties, should that be a clear sign to stay clear of properties that comps cannot be pulled or found? Is there another way? I mean, I'm just going to answer the first part of that question. If you're not seeing a whole lot, to me, that's an indication that there's not a whole lot of buying activity going on. So that's my opinion and my experience. Not just my opinion, but my experience. So
I got something to say on that. It depends.
Go ahead, love.
It depends. It could be a well-established area where people have been happy and have not sold. And it's an area that's really in demand. And when you get a property or two that pop up and you've had nothing sell in 10 years, because it's a really good neighborhood, a good area, you want to look for that. And you can simply do that just by looking at that neighborhood.
Right,
And
that's what I was gonna say.
and checking out the subdivision, and also asking some other investors, because you can mention certain subdivisions in Dallas, in Fort Worth, and they are all on it. They're like, yep, I want this subdivision, this subdivision, this sub, and they'll know. So not necessarily all the time, where it's like, no, I'm not gonna fool with that area because I can't. There's no activity. But you can also look and see and make sure that if it's inactivity, it's because it's a really good area, and nobody has, nobody's died or wanted to sell or whatever.
Right. Anything else you guys want to add?
Yeah, I know, like in a lot of older neighborhoods, like the neighborhood where I grew up, it's not a lot of comps, but it's an older, established neighborhood. And in the area, you have a lot of rentals, but it's not a whole busload of, buying property and selling them at retail, but it's just mainly rentals. So it's just, it just depends upon the area. You just have to do your research and actually know the area. Just because you don't get any comps doesn't mean that it's not a good area to buy. It may not be a good area to buy and flip, but it may be a great area to buy and rent.
Right.
Exactly.
So it just depends. I know, like also an area where I did a short sale. It's an older neighborhood, and everything in that neighborhood, it wasn't a buy and flip to a retail buyer. You had to buy it and maybe sell it on owner finance, that type thing. Mm-hmm. So there had to be some creativity there.
Right. You're right, Pam. I agree.
Awesome.
All right. I was just trying to see if I could still make this happen. Okay, so is there any other way to pull comps beside dealing with realtors? Yes, there is, but I'm gonna let somebody else answer that.
Let me say this real quick. I just confirmed a really, really, really good friend of mine that is a very sharp investor that has agreed to record a Q&A and the webinar session teaching on exactly this, how you can find solid comps without using the MLS. So I just wanted to put that out there, but it will only be for Mastermind members. So okay, just want to put that in there because I didn't tell you, Iman. So now you guys know. But yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Like everybody else.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Yeah,
that's good. I mean, there's RealQuest, but you got to, depending on your market. Like it's $125 in Philly.
It's $100 here, $100 in Dallas a month.
Yeah, so it depends on your market. So like if you're in New York or LA or Chicago, it's probably $150. The price range is between $75 and $150. I know for some folks, I don't know, they can on the event page, I guess. They can do it in that way. But what was I gonna say? The price range is between $75 and $150. The beautiful thing about RealQuest, I know for some folks, it's like, that's a little steep for folks in addition to other things that your recurring fees. But you get to pull up the 4,000 both seller and buyer records every month. And you get comps. And if that's another thing how Lo and I will be doing in the mastermind too is how-to on how to pull leads. You got to know how to pull the leads from RealQuest for you to get a quality list. So I mean, I've never had a crappy list from RealQuest. You just need to know, for example, like Lo, I'm sure in certain target areas for where she's marketing, them at a minimum, this is how long it takes folks to pay off a mortgage, conventional financing. So that number on back. So if you're pulling, targeting sellers with certain parameters like that, then you should pull a good list.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also. But I mean, I'm just sharing it, but you can pull inherited leads from there too. So.
Right.
But anyway, that's to be shared with our folks. So anybody else with Zillow, there's my little friends that find compsnow.com where they're kind of like not really, And then you got folks like Lo. I don't know. I guess Lo and Pam, Texas, define comps like it's not a non-disclosure state, right?
Yeah.
What's that?
That sucks.
It's a non-disclosure state, Texas is. So, you have investors that buy properties and, they don't have to disclose what they paid for it. So that's why you don't have, a lot of times, you don't have, a lot of cash, cash deals or cash transactions. You don't have a lot of those purchase prices that show up because we are a non-disclosure state. So you may only have a few, one or two, something that you have to kind of work with and go from there.
That sucks. Wow. I mean, that's because I'm so used to being able to pull that information up, and I'm like, Lord,
Yeah.
So anyway, but well, do you have another question? We can bounce over there.
Let me see real quick. I'm gonna go over to the emails here. Question for webinar.
No, but I'm sorry, but to answer Zillow, I mean,
Also,
I
Trulia. You can use Trulia. You can simply on Trulia.
I like Trulia.
Yeah, and one way I use it,
I'm
you could just sit. I'm not a big fan of Zillow, but with Trulia, what you can do, you can simply like put in let's say
I'd
the
like
address.
Cash buyer comps. I'm not talking
Oh,
about
okay.
ARV.
Okay.
I'm talking about cash buyer.
Oh, I got you.
That's what I use it for.
But just to get an idea of value, you can on Trulia, you can just simply put in like the address, or you can just put in, or maybe the street, the city, the zip code, or just the city and the zip code, and you can go to souls, and you can choose sold the 3 bedroom. You can choose the bedrooms, bath, 3 bedroom, 2 bath for the last 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months, and you can actually see what has sold in that same zip code area and kind of get an idea of what your value would be for the house. So,
Right.
and that's free.
Right. And you know what? Just to say this real fast, I know this person asked a question about, is there another way to pull comps besides dealing with realtors? I mean, you don't have to deal with them. I mean, maybe I think a great place to start, where it kind of puts you on even footing, because if you're at a RIA and you got an agent, maybe, I can't tell you how to develop a relationship. That has to happen naturally for you. But, get a real estate assistance access. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Where you're not having to rely on them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like $36. That's my thing. 36. I got the hookup, but they normally charge $55 per month. So I pay $36 for a year. That's because I do business with this person a lot. You know what I mean? So, but maybe seek out somebody, if you're not a member of a RIA, at least a meetup or something, a real estate investors meetup, where they're not charging you an arm and a leg to join the RIA. But, that's one way you can do it. So, pay your little money, and you can pull absentee owner leads from there and expired listings. So there's some more bonus information.
Yep.
So anyway, not as bad as it sounds is my point. Is there a cap on what one can make from one wholesale deal? Who wants to start?
What's the question again?
Is there a cap on what one can make from one wholesale deal?
No. Not at all. You can make 1,000. You can make 50,000. It just depends on the numbers in the deal.
Right. You're absolutely right, because, for example, I'm gonna give you a real life example. The property that this deal, me and my JV partner from DC, we have 2 properties from the same seller. They're looking to unload. The first one closed in December, right? There was a tree literally going through the property, through the inside of the property. Not only that, it just was a crappy house. But, the block was decent, and they're doing developing that area. I couldn't get it out. So I was like, listen, a woman wanted 20. I'm like, she got to be crazy. So anyway, we had to go back and forth, and finally, we agreed on 1,000. Like, you want to just get rid of it, this is what it is. But in order for us to get rid of it, we could only really tack $1,000 on there because nobody else would buy it. So it depends. Certain things, there's different factors involved that will determine how much or how little you make on a deal. And you're the one that determines that. You follow me? But you need to know, you know what I mean? You need to know your target areas. Like, again, there could be a million and one factors why you don't make as much. You know what I mean? There's back taxes, outstanding water, utilities, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, mortgage balance of whatever. But, you're the one that determines that, not the buyer. You determine that. They don't tell you. If you don't like what they're talking, then, okay, on to the next one. So I'm just saying. So, it's really hard to determine. I can't say, because some people say it's 5,000, the right number or correct number for me to charge. I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm not in your market. We have a guy that we know who lives in California who does a deal a month, but he's making between 30 and 50. So what's right for him may not be right for you.
Right.
Anyway, guys?
Yeah, I would say, you're the one who's creating that whole business transaction and putting it together. So, you're finding a buyer, seller, and putting the numbers together so that it pays you, whatever you feel you're worth or whatever you feel you can kind of put together. I mean, I've personally been on wholesale deals where we made 6-figure checks, multiple occasions. So it's not, and I promise you.
Big baller.
I promise you there was a time where I totally had no idea that was possible. I really felt like that was something that is really not possible to do, but it's definitely possible to do. And, you can get very creative on how you structure a wholesale deal so that, by being, you can buy liens on properties, you can do all kinds of different things to where you create a huge payday for yourself out of the transaction. So there's many ways to get paid on a deal. So it's my 2 cents.
You're right, Andrew. I mean, hey, I have a buddy here locally that, I remember him posting this check that he made, $88K, wholesale. I believe it was a probate situation, but it was where he targets his sellers, which is in a very, it's a gentrified area. There's a lot of, professionals and stuff like that there. So, he was able to make that. I mean, I'm sure the person that bought it was like, what? 88,000? I paid you 88. Hey, it was worth it.
Yeah.
You know what an area is worth and what you can get for it. So, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so anyway, Pam?
Ditto to everybody else.
Keep it short and simple, huh?
Ditto to everybody else. So, do you have any more, Lo?
Yes. I think I have one more. And let me go. Okay, this young lady says she's not able to get on the live webinar, which is okay, to come up. But her question is, after you get a property under contract, how do you handle showing it to your investors, particularly when the owner has to be there for showings, or if the house is occupied by either the seller or a tenant? I am especially concerned if I have to show the house to more than 2 people. Also, is there ever a time when you would just tell the seller up front that you will be wholesaling the property? Thanks.
One-time showing.
Say it again, Iman. I missed that.
Schedule one-time showing.
Yep, it's a good idea.
To minimize a lot of foot traffic in and out, just imagine. I can appreciate that. I don't want anybody in and out of my house, in and out of my house, in and out of my house to try to sell it, Right. So to schedule a one-time showing, and I'm going to tell you, especially if it's a hot type of deal, yeah, folks, I've done it. So, I mean, I don't have to do it. I don't do it often, but, that's solution, And this person didn't live in, it was vacant, but I knew what we had, so that's why I scheduled a one-time showing. But in the case where there's tenants there, you know what I mean, and or the seller still lives there, or the seller doesn't want to give you a lockbox, a key to put it on lockbox for folks to, how do you do it? One-time showing.
Yeah, that's a good
Anybody
idea.
else?
I was just gonna say. Oh, go ahead, Pam. No, go ahead.
Okay, because typically, I guess I pretty much tell people up front what's going on. I mean, they don't know every detail of what I'm doing. However, they do realize that, if I don't buy the property, I have my money people that may buy the property. I have contractors, somebody else that may buy this property. And they're going to need to be able to come in and look at the property before my money person okays it. I have several money people, and that's the truth. I have several private lenders that may want to come in and check this deal out to make sure it's going to be worth it to them, to fund their money fund the deal with their money. I actually have a deal going on right now. It's a tenant-occupied property. I went to look at the property last week. It was kind of funny. It was cold outside. It was an elderly lady. She really didn't want to be bothered. Huh? So anyway, and so her brother told me to knock on the door because I was already kind of afraid. And so he said, just knock. And so when I knocked, she started yelling and screaming, "Oh, who is that at the door? I don't want to be bothered." And I was like, "Oh my God." And so I said I was just here to inspect the property. And so she let me in, and I ended up finding some real nice old pictures from years ago. And, I was asking, I said, who is that gorgeous person, in this picture? She said it was me, and it was her, actually. And, she started laughing. So the point is, on that particular deal, I made a friend because I just tried to find some kind of way to diffuse the situation, especially when you're dealing with elderly people. They don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
Like some tenants, if the owner hasn't told them that they're looking to sell that property, sometimes that can be a problem. I always tell the owner, if you have tenants, you need to let the tenants know that you're looking to sell this property. And
sometimes they don't want to do that.
Right. And then in the case they don't want to do that, I can tell them to say, look, tell them you have somebody coming by to inspect the property. That's not abnormal to inspect the property. Everybody understands the word inspect. So to me, that's the way to do it. And then I like the one-time short type deal. We had a short sale going on, and we had some people coming over, and I told the owners what I need you guys to do, for a couple of hours, go to the mall. It was actually a Sunday afternoon. Why don't you guys go to the mall, take your wife to the mall, and I just kind of need you to disappear for a couple of hours. However, all of that was able to happen because I let the people know up front. That's just the way I do it. I don't hide a bunch of stuff, because when you start hiding and all this stuff and you start telling lies and you need to tell another lie to keep up with the first lie, just tell them. You can tell people the truth without going into a busload of details on what you do.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Ditto.
Can you walk us through a sample conversation of what that sounds like for folks, Pam?
Yeah. For an example, okay, on the short sale. Okay, I pretty much told them, okay, hey, Chris, we're looking to buy this property, and typically when we buy properties, if it doesn't fit our cash buy criteria, where we're actually able to pay cash, I have other people that's going to come in and check this property out. And typically it could be 4 or 5 people, because if I don't buy it, Chris, either me or my money partner or some of my other investor friends, they're going to buy the property. And, when people come to your house, you're here, they're trying to walk around and look, and I don't want them to feel intimidated or anything like that. You kind of understand that, right? Yeah, I understand. Okay, great. So, I really plan on having something probably, this, Saturday or Sunday. What day works best for you guys? Oh, well, Sunday would be great. Such as, you go to church early morning, afternoon service, da-da-da. Oh, we normally go 10 o'clock. Okay, great. So we'll schedule, maybe 10 or 11 o'clock while they're at church. And, we're able to show it, during that time frame. That way the homeowner isn't at the property when we show the property. I do that also for BPOs because, sellers get in, they start talking and,
Yep.
Screwing stuff up. So that's another thing. I need them to disappear from the premises.
Very good. That's good.
Hopefully I did what you asked me to do, Iman.
Yeah, no, you did.
Girl, you need an Oscar.
Yeah, right. But that tenant situation, I'm telling you, we had one. It was like a nightmare on a situation where the woman was like, oh, because you get the whole first right of refusal. Oh, my thing is, okay, it was a Section 8 situation. So now what? You got, I'm not, not to minimize anybody's situation, but it's like you don't have any running water and this other type of stuff. But, she was up in arms about the fact, I think, the purchase price was supposed to be $15,000. But, she didn't want to let us in, take pictures, nothing. So, fortunately, the guy that, the agent that I use from time to time found a buyer, and they were willing to buy it sight unseen. But it was just insane. I mean, that's just, the abbreviated version of what happened. But it was just crazy, and they don't always like to, and then it was kind of like my joint venture partner, he was kind of like thrown under the bus when he was talking to her. When she was, she never told this woman that somebody else was buying it. Her and her brother weren't selling it to her anymore, you know what I mean? So it's crazy. But yeah, try to always walk the ethical line as best as possible. You know what I mean? Because, right, you don't want to deceive people, or you really don't. And you want to feel good when you lay your head down at night.
Amen.
So, let me see. I don't know if I have, okay, now that's the last one I have. Well, you don't have any more, right?
Let me see. No more.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, I apologize, guys. I just, I feel like not the best right now. With this cold, I'm still trying to recover from that. But hopefully, you guys got a lot of value out of this live webcast, live Q&A webcast. As we mentioned at the outset here, that the doors are going to be closing shut on Friday, and I don't know when we're going to open them again. So I'm just saying, you should take advantage of this. This is like an introductory offer that Lo and I, are extending to folks an opportunity, because when, if and when the doors open again, it's not going to be what it is. So my suggestion is to test drive it and stay. Don't just test drive it, boom. And then, keep it moving type situation. We want the right people. We want folks who are serious action takers, people who really want to grow their business and feel that they could benefit from this and what we are offering. You know what I mean? So we're going to have Andrew and Pam and Mr. Shane Foster, who was unable to make it tonight, as additional coaches here. So, I don't know if you want to add anything, Lo.
Absolutely.
On the Mastermind.
Sure. And again, I want to thank Andrew and Pam. You guys rock. Like I said, you're very active, just with the group, and you add so much value to what we're doing. And we appreciate everybody's patience on the kinks. This is new. Anytime you have something new, You're going to have, a few issues here and there, but it's exciting to know that we bring more value, I believe, and content and really great people to the team, even with a few technical difficulties here and there. So
Absolutely.
hopefully that the value of the content and for all of us that are part of this
Compensate for
will
that.
compensate for that. But it'll get better and better. And we're going to do a test before the next webinar. Trust and believe, to make sure that
Yeah, but
everything
you
is
know
going to
what?
be
We're not
all
gonna
right.
always. This was a webcast. This was a webcast where we were doing
Yeah,
live Q&A that was going to be broadcasted to YouTube. This is not going to be standard for the
correct,
Mastermind because this would be seen by everybody if that's the
correct.
case. And it's exclusive. What we will be doing from this point forward, starting tomorrow, is going to be closed and exclusive only to folks who are members of the Mastermind. So.
Absolutely.
This is not a weekly thing. This isn't, the Low and Iman SetMeUp4Success TV show. It's not what we're doing all the time. So, okay,
Hey,
so,
it's got a
but,
ring. Reality
know,
show. That's right. And Pam,
hey, listen,
Andrew. Hey,
I have an idea
hey,
about that.
y'all on board? Let's do this.
I have an idea about that. We'll talk about that. But seriously, the whole idea was to take live Q&A questions, to answer your questions, live, anything pertaining to the Mastermind and, real estate in general. I think we did a wonderful job of answering all the questions that have come to us for this webcast and the other webcast, which should tell you we know what the heck we're talking about, right?
Absolutely.
Excuse me. And as I mentioned a few days ago, a lot of folks charge a premium to do for a live webcast, not a webinar, webcast, live Q&A with folks, and they, may not be, really don't care about taking the time to answer your questions before investing, with them, with their product, their service, their program, whatever it may be. And, not tooting our own horn, but, the reason why we did this second webcast is to compensate for the last one. But the beautiful thing is, you guys, I know, it's hilarious, but you guys, you can watch this into perpetuity, okay? So, right? That's the wonderful thing about our blunders, that you get to refer to this and come back and maybe get a nugget that you didn't catch the last time.
That's right.
So,
It's all real. That's right.
So everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that. So,
Yes.
You got 2 live webcasts that are going to be, wind up recorded. But anyway, so hopefully you guys, anything Andrew, Pam, Lo, want to add before we wrap it up?
I'm good.
Again, I encourage people to participate, take advantage of a fantastic offer. You're just assembling the minds of some people who've had a lot of experience who can really help you at whatever point you're at in the business. So it just makes sense, honestly.
Absolutely. Pam, anything?
I'm excited. I'm totally pumped up. Masterminding and things like that, I think it's important. I remember paying like $1,400 a month for coaching, and that was one strat. It was $14.97 to be exact. I paid that for a minute, and that was just for one strategy.
Wow.
So, for $100 a month, to have access to people who are in the business, who's doing the business, not just putting out ebooks or whatever, but they're actually active in what's going on.
Right.
So I'm excited.
Cool.
Me and Pam were talking about this the other day. Like, I know too. Listen, I did some, I invested in some coaching, right? Some one-on-one and group coaching. It was one-on-one with an assigned coach, and then our main coach. It was $3,500 up front and $500 per month. But, and this is what I meant to ask Pam, I saw the value in what I was investing in. So, You understand what I'm saying? I didn't just throw money at it just for the sake of throwing money at it.
Right.
I saw the value in that. And again, for $97 for the introductory price, which, it's an introductory price, so I would take advantage of it now. Try it out for $1 for 30 days. Come on now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we're going to be doing deal reviews, joint venturing things, accountability partners, weekly accountability amongst ourselves. Everybody's going to, be holding each other accountable. Success corner for folks who are, really making things happen in their business, which then in turn inspires and motivates the rest of us to go at it even harder when we're, doing something that we, know we maybe aren't doing. You follow what I'm saying? I mean, again, that's just a small piece of what's going to happen. In there, everything will be archived, live, Lo and I are going to alternate between doing live seller and buyer calls, okay? Webinar trainings, coaching calls, Q&As, all that stuff will be archived and housed in the very near future here in the membership. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So, I don't know. But, so, to join, got 2 days. All right? You want to go to SetMeUp, www.SetMeUp4Success.com/mastermind -circle. Again, SetMeUp4Success.com/mastermind dash, hyphen or dash, same thing. I don't want to confuse anybody. Circle, okay?
We will provide the link.
Absolutely. It's going to be affordable anyway. But I'm just saying, we got the giggles. They're laughing at me. They're finding humor. My mistake.
It's all out of love, my sister.
It's a lot of love. Right. So, it's a great community. This is the thing. It's a community. Great, awesome community.
Yes.
Yep. Yes,
so with that, folks, we're going to wrap this up, and hopefully we will see you on the inside.
Absolutely. Take action.
Take care, guys.
All right.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.